Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button if you like this video. With that, let's get into it. Katsuki Bakugou, or the blunt flame ball, full of pure anger and hormones, that sat a few seats in front of you, was someone you were undoubtedly crushing on. You cursed yourself for catching feelings, let alone for someone who didn't give off the romantic vibe. You'd practically set yourself up for heartbreak, or so you thought. Mina and Kirishima were quick to notice the glances you shot at Bakugou until he'd catch on and yell at you and cause a scene. Needless to say, there was some sort of tension, whether it be romantic or not. It was obvious. You bit the end of your pencil, stress riding through your body as you stared at the assignment in front of you. It wasn't rare to see some sort of paper assignment in your class, although it seemed odd. You couldn't help but look at Bakugou, watching as his hand moved and scribbled down answers onto the paper. Mina smiled and nudged Kirishima. "She's doing it again. Look," Mina whispered, causing the spiky red-haired boy to look in your direction. Kirishima laughed quietly, following your gaze right to Bakugou's desk. You heard whispers and turned your head to see Mina and Kirishima smiling at you. You shook your head and felt your cheeks burn bright red. They'd been determined to out your feelings for Katsuki, but you'd both denied having any feelings towards one another, and even if Katsuki did, you doubt he'd tell anyone. Of course, that was as much hope as you could give the situation. After finishing your assignment, you looked out the window. It didn't help that Bakugou was sitting in the direction, so even unintentionally, it looked like you were gazing at him. And you just wanted to watch the rain pour outside. "Hey, you got some sort of staring problem?" Bakugou's voice interrupted your thoughts of serenity and peace. He waved his hands in your direction, blocking your view of the rain. "Huh?" you questioned, shaking your head. "I was just—" "Stop staring at me." Katsuki's eyes softened a little, going almost unnoticeable to you. If his hair had fallen in front of his face, you wouldn't have caught it, but he faltered, just slightly. "I'm sorry," he said softly, looking down at your desk. Bakugou wasn't the one for love and romance, but he'd be lying if you hadn't caught his attention. He'd sworn his main focus was hero work and being the best hero. But maybe he could get a little distracted. As long as you weren't trying to distract him from his goal, a little love here and there wouldn't hurt. "So we're just gonna slip notes into their bags? Like something out of a movie?" Kirishima asked, looking at the folded piece of paper. "Yes. You're closest to Bakugou. You can slip in unnoticed. I'm counting on you, alright?" Mina smiled, handing her a note that was supposedly from Bakugou. It was a terrible idea, really. It was rushed and had no main structure. But Mina had carefully crafted 2 notes, both very detailed and, in her opinion, very alike in the way that the respected person talked. Mina slipped the note in your bag, and Kirishima did the same with Bakugou, and then they played the waiting game. You were in your room, or dorm, as you'd gotten used to calling it. That's where you found it, a crumpled note. You unfolded the paper and read the words. "This is so stupid, but you keep looking at me, and it's driving me crazy. Let's settle this shit. Meet me by class later tonight. Katsuki Bakugou." You were almost shocked to see his writing. It was neat, and his signature was almost perfect. You thought it was odd. Bakugou didn't seem like the love letter type, But maybe it was a sight he didn't want many people to see, which was understandable. Min and Kirishima had hid around the class, awaiting the arrival of the distant duo. Bakugou was fuming. There was no way he'd write him some stupid love note. But he was on his way to see you, and probably scare the shit out of you. You stood by the class, looking out the large windows. That's when you heard him. "You're so dead. This isn't funny," he called, storming over to you. "Oh, hey," you called, holding up a sheet of paper. "The hell is this?" He stopped a few feet away from you. "Your note. You wanted to talk about the, thing." You outstretched your arm, the note resting in your hand. "I didn't write that shit," he chuckled. "What? Then why are you here?" You questioned, pulling your hand away. "Because you wrote the stupid shit." He handed you the note that you had supposedly wrote. This is a waste of time." "Mina and Kirishima," you said softly. "Huh?" Bakugou looked at you, raising an eyebrow. "Do you know how I feel about you? I guess you thought this would be funny." You laughed, crumbling the notes up, aiming for the trash can. "How you feel about me? The hell?" He grabbed your arm, causing you to look at him. "Are you oblivious to all the comments made in class? Of course you aren't. You hear them, just as much as I do. And it should be obvious by now that I like you." You looked down, feeling embarrassed. "I really want to call you pathetic right now," he muttered, removing his hand from your arm. "Why don't you? What's stopping the almighty Katsuki Bakugou?" You tossed the paper aside. "Because I knew it," Mina whispered, playfully pushing Kirishima. Kirishima toppled over, exposing their cover. "You bastards, get back here." Bakugou started running after the two, leaving you alone in the hallway. You'd made it back to your dorm, trying to rid yourself of the embarrassment you felt. You were preparing for Bakugou to tease you about the incident, and for falling for such an obvious prank, but the aggressive knock at your door startled you. When you opened the door to see Bakugou, you were confused. "What are you—" "Let me in," he groaned, walking in after you'd stepped aside. Bakugou plopped into your bed and sighed. "If you say anything about this, I won't hesitate to make my life hell," he whispered the rest of his usual taunts. Bakugou looked back at you with a grin. "Shut up," he grumbled. "Why are you here?" "Well, if we're going to like each other, shouldn't we spend some time together?" Bakugou sat up, rubbing the back of his neck. It clicked. Bakugou did like you back. He was just stubborn enough not to show it. And of course, it drove you mad. But maybe it was worth it. Maybe he was just a big teddy bear under the mask of anger and stubbornness. "Yeah," you mumbled. That night, you learned that just as you had predicted, that under all of Katsuki's stubborn and hard-headedness, he was kind of sweet. He still poked fun of you, but you did enjoy that he knew how to braid hair, or how he was really warm when you both cuddled. Needless to say, Mina and Kirishima had actually helped you out, despite feeling like they might have ruined any chances you'd gotten to begin with. And now, you are more than excited to discover this new Katsuki right before your eyes. Thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. I hope you enjoyed listening to this as much as I did making it. Anyway, goodbye.